Hello and welcome to BlackOut TV. It is week 4. I don't know. It's many weeks. We keep playing this game.
It's sweet.
No, it is week 3. And let me introduce the big honey badger, fresh off somewhere, wherever he's been today. How you doing, honey?
What a great start. Hey. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, looking forward to some more Highlander.
You make it seem like you played a lot of Highlander.
I haven't. I really haven't. I'm quite inexperienced.
It's
to be
funny
quite honest.
actually. There was that thread about your old Sixers team that said like, I think Marble said you were more well known for Highlander, and I really thought Honey's played like probably one like silly season when we had divs, and everyone was like no and like downfragged me. I didn't understand it, but no, you almost played last season actually in a team with me. You were rostered for Big Danger Gummy Bears, and then you never played a game.
No, that team just fell apart at the seams. That was awful. I hated playing for that team. Sorry.
It was Kratos' idea of us to go Prem, and it didn't work. But we're here to look at Highlander, so we've got Fair Enough against Nunya, also known as the Experiment plus Nunya, because that's basically what it is. Well, it's really just Layla and Joe. So, we've got Nunya attacking first. Why don't you go for their roster?
Which team? Nunya's one.
Nunya's roster, yeah, go through them.
Alright, okay. So we got Carlozzo on Spy, Apharax on Sniper, Layla on Medic, Corndog on Engineer, Blutzar, who's marking I think for Heavy, Joe on Demo, Tea Time on Pyro, Chewid is on the Soldier, and Yimpu Friendly on Scout.
And on the flip side, with Fair Enough for defending, you've got Bucknose Merking on Scout, Ubers is Merking, which actually is fine because you've got Drift on Blackout TV 2. Yggdrasil on Pyro, Adysky is playing Demo Man, Pidox is on Heavy, Cherry Rendezvous is on the Engineer Man, Skeege, Big Skeege, is on Medic, Milkman Sniping, and Viljack is on Spy. It's funny actually because I'm pretty sure Ty said he would be playing this game for Soldier, for Fair Enough, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually just having a look at the sentry spot for Cherry. It's like right on the first point. So the gates are actually about to open now, and it just looks like they're going to hold really far back here, Fair Enough, not wanting to commit too many resources to kind of this play. And they're just going to start pushing out of the spawn now as Carlozzo tries to get a spot behind that sentry.
Yeah, we saw a lot of teams, especially early in the week, the 2 games played. Actually, it's a big pick on Adysky. We saw a lot of players, at least the 2 teams of Bureau, were holding this front house, but it's interesting to see Fair Enough hold so far back, and if anything, just going to immediately give up all that space. But then you just walk all the way in. They do actually pop the crits, comes out, sort of hitting nothing, and she gets the 4 onto Skeege just before he drops.
Yeah, Layla's running around right now, and Blitzer actually manages to take down Yusha, who is chasing Layla there, but really good escape there by her. And that sentry gun's still staying alive for Cherry. They lost Disky so early on though, they're going to have to back out with a lot of time to spare, just bringing that level 3 back to the next point, but Blutzer does get taken down, which will slow down their push as Cherry sets up.
Yeah, we see the first cap one actually in under a minute, which is a pretty quick time. I think the 2 games earlier this week, they were both under a minute. And actually, Bill might get to pick on the Kondo, so he won't have that little mini century. Even that kind of ×3 on the car will be down to 2. I expect ×2 if anything.
Yeah, and they actually do pick up Joe, who's quite a big force for the Nunya side, so they will just be holding back at the moment, just trying to get that Uber up, as both teams are kind of close in that aspect with Uber. Layla hasn't died yet though, and she's just sitting behind Cart at the moment with her Heavy, just trying to make sure that she keeps building that Uber properly. But this sentry spot by Cherry is really good, and I like what the combo's holding at the moment for Fair Enough. They're just taking that top area, getting picks all the time, just stopping the push constantly. And they've bought a minute already as Skeege has to pop Uber here due to the Layla crits, and wow, Skeege just cleaning up so many frags.
Yeah, Disky, big kill streak for him. I think he got 3 or 4, I think he's on a 4 streak now. Actually, there's 7 players down for Nunya. They're getting spawners now. Yeah, I think the failure with that push is Joe crits, and all Cherry did was just wrangle a sentry, and it absorbed so much damage. It didn't even go down. At that point, when it faded, you push out with your Uber, and you know, trust the bigger Disky to get enough frags.
Yeah, didn't really see where they were going with that crits and what they wanted to do. They were kind of like in the middle ground. They were just down in this valley area where the combo's in house, and Cherry's just hitting them with the sentry. And then you now actually try and take the inside of the house, trying to face a Disky. Joe's just going in on his own there, trying to take everyone on before she gets taken down there, which is again going to slow the push down. He needs to work together with his teammates way more. But this is kind of how Nunya like to play around Joe, and they like to try and push forward very fast.
Yeah, what you failed to miss out actually was adysky you got to pick onto Layla, so I'm assuming Joe's kind of big retaliation was to bomb in large and try and hit Skeej. But he's crouched completely behind this crate, he's got 100% Uber, and that kind of minute first time cap point is probably going to forget about if they get a strong second.
Yeah, again, Joe does go down there to this really nice holding position here by Fair Enough, just holding them back. Layla holding in house now, actually gone back to the Uber as they just try and see if they can set up any picks, but they've got like 6 or 7 people just stacked in this left house, just trying to stop as many people as possible from coming through, and adysky's doing a really good job just to spam it. Skeej is forced to pop though by Corndog there, really good play by him, as Blitz is probably going to go down here from this Uber charge, but huge advantage now for Layla.
Yeah, he gets battered down by, I think, Butnose actually. Yeah, looking at how they've all got themselves all lined up, it's interesting to only see Cherry with a sentry and Uber's sitting on that right hand side. Because you see some places like a scout in some other teams just going to float around that central area. But I suppose that sentry's so protected and out the way that you won't really get picked. But I think surely a spy though could quite easily get in that sentry. Well, I say that as Carlotto gets just smacked in the head by a wrench, so evidently I'll eat my own words on that.
Yeah, no, they've actually all moved back to Joe, but that could have been a suggestion that Carlotto could have done in that situation. It's just that Cherry was all on his own, out in nowhere. But now he's actually got the support of his team behind him, as that Uber from Layla did absolutely nothing. They did manage to get Skeej, but they lost the push due to getting that house area. They took so much room, and Cherry Sentry has just been up for the longest time possible as they try and regroup now and just join each other. Skeej has a slight advantage here on Layla.
Yeah, only about 10, maybe 15%. But I think Layla's finally on Uber. I'm not sure if it was his life she switched back off crits or the life before. But they're in this drop down area and they've just been spammed out. And Blitzer's got actually backstabbed and Joe got meat shot, and Layla's now stuck in this drop down area with only Condog. So if Fair Enough were aware of this, you could quite easily just push onto it. And you've just got to frag an engineer and a medic. And it looks like they're actually going to try and get out now as Carlotto finally gets some nice picks on Pidox.
Yeah, no, this is really weird for them. They've actually backed out of the house now, Fair Enough, and they decided it's time to go back to that third point and set up a really strong defense at the tunnel, maybe. As all of them start to go up now and just get those busts up. Skeej's been doing a really good job actually keeping the team health above everyone else's. As Joe goes in here for a single Uber, taking it against Skeej and adysky. Both teams are just going to have similar Ubers here, and I think it's just going to be a trade for now. No other picks going down.
Yeah, I think adysky got a nice sticky onto Layla. She was trying to get out. Actually, Joe, big pipe onto adysky and Skeej. Yeah, back sixes, idiots. Looking now, it looks like that's going to be the third point, or at least that kind of area, that gap, that space where they're holding without their combo. Bush was already in that far left-hand side of the house. Joe's completely destroyed any kind of infrastructure they had, including a sentry or dispenser, and most teams normally can't repush this if they've lost that top area. That's normally where you see a hold. So I expect to see this cart should quite happily get pushed through by Yumpu and Condog and get this third cap finished.
Yeah, no, this third cap's going to go down pretty quickly. It's the last point, though, that a lot of teams struggle on recently. It's just so hard to push with the height that you get as a defending team. But they are making a go at this, actually, of holding a little bit outside. Skeej just building that Uber up does have a slight disadvantage on there, but I think they're going to get it in time here. There's so much ground to cover. The Milchman's actually doing a really good job of keeping that combo in the top area as Spy comes in behind. Vildachak tries to get the medic. Unfortunately, not able to drop Layla as she just gets the Uber now.
We see Yogeshil get picked as well, trying to get something on the cart. I think trying to peek that little corner, see if Layla was standing there. But if anything, it was more of an overextension. We can see only adysky and Skeej now. Uber does come out from Fair Enough. But T-Time doing such a good job, well, before he got killed. It looks like Layla, actually, Layla went down somewhere in there. I completely missed how she got killed. Oh, according to John, it was a sticky trap, so Div 6 strats, I guess?
Yeah, no, I'm really unfortunate though. That's why they popped the Uber, just for a free trade, I guess, and try and get the Pyro, which they did get eventually. But nothing else came out of that one again. So last time I think I watched the Milchman on this map, he absolutely locked down the sightline, but Afrex gets a pick on him instantly as Joe's doing so much damage to the combo. They're going to have to back off so far here as Pidox goes down as well. Afrex is doing a really good job just shutting down these sightlines at the moment and making sure he's got so much room for his team. as they're pushing through the top left area here, and they may even get the sentry gun for this push.
Yeah, Buttnose came in, and got a nice pick onto tea time, and got actually a meat shot onto Layla, but couldn't finish that frag. But it gives Nunya this whole kind of right or even left hand side from their perspective, this whole control, which is a strong area to hold. You can't really flank round. As I say that, adysky just basically brute forces his way through, takes down Blutzer and Apharax. And he was still Milkman also getting some picks on this last hold.
Yeah, he actually managed to pick the NG up and catch out the spy of Colozzo there. Unfortunately not having the Razorback, obviously, because it's banned now.
But it's not banned.
Oh, is it not banned? Oh,
no, that was only in the pre-season cup.
Oh,
because you can see Apharax got happily rocking the Razorback. Actually, Uber comes out from... Actually finished off from Layla. I haven't seen half the Ubers.
Yeah, no, I think she got forced there by Buttnose, who actually managed to get out there. And
Blutzer gets a nice stab onto both Layla and Blutzer. That'll give Siege a 55-ish% advantage. And actually, it's interesting to note how Fair Enough, if anything, slowed the game down quite a lot. We saw these first 3 points. 6.5 minutes is quite fast. I mean, first was under a minute. Second, there was a bit of delay. And third was quite fast. But 6.5 minutes now, and you've got time counting down. We must be upwards of kind of 7.5, 8 minutes.
Yeah, what kind of time would you be looking at then for a very good Bonnier time?
So a quick time, I would say you're looking around kind of 8-ish minutes is a quick time. Just because the losses so hold to break. But we've seen times, I think the Bureau were the slowest on Wednesday or Thursday, and that was in like 15.5 minutes. That was quite catastrophic.
Well, at the moment, they're doing pretty well then on the time thing. I thought second point was a real big loss for them, but they managed to actually come back and get that third point very quickly. So they will just be holding here, making sure they're building this Uber advantage, because Skiege actually potched out a last while we were talking. But yeah, they will just be holding this normal spot here, as again, the Milchman has this sightline completely shut down at the moment, but Colozzo's trying to give him the stare down. As he's actually right behind the medic, Skiege is sitting right next to him, but gets taken down there. Wow, Jesus, they sat next to each other for a good 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, Colozzo couldn't get the pick onto Skiege. And then I think they're at Apharax as well. Skiege having to come all the way across to this left-hand side. So they've got no one on the right. Colozzo gets a nice pick onto the sentry.
Colozzo is doing so much work, taking down 2 of the enemy combo there. Skiege is going to pop. There's not going to be on anybody too powerful here. As Slade's actually stuck in here with the demo, who's actually spawn camping at the moment. The position that they have at the moment, Nunya, are really good. And this is actually going to be quite a fast climb.
Yeah, sure finish off the cap. Not really enough players. And actually, it was 10 minutes and 22 seconds. I thought it was a little bit faster. I guess last was a little bit stronger to hold from Fair Enough. So just under 10.5 minutes. It's not a bad time, but it's not particularly a fast time. We've seen kind of, I think we even saw a 6-minute cap on Thursday. I am hoping it's Thursday. If I'm completely wrong, I made a right mess of this.
No, that was a really good push though, coming out of Nunya. They managed to bring it back after a really bad second push, and actually cap Nas pretty quickly. But I think the main thing is that they actually push Fair Enough off of third point without much of a contest, and there's a really big long piece of track there that you should be able to hold for quite some time. So that was good by them to keep the momentum going off at the second point.
Yeah, big thing we saw on Thursday in some other teams, and even some scrims I've noticed, is if you get your sentry up on third and you completely lock down that right hand side, and even the left with your flank, you can normally hold that cap point for kind of a good 5 minutes. But in that, I think it was Joe's aggression, he was straight, it worked out well for him. The fact that he could immediately jump straight in, couldn't even get, there wasn't enough for to set up a strong defense, and they just had to give it up and fall to last. But I don't think they should be worried. I mean, 10 minutes, 22 seconds, you know, it's easily beatable, but they could mess up pushing a point and quite easily could cost them the game.
Yeah, exactly, as we actually do see them coming out of the gate here as they try and get as much cat time on that cart as possible there, as Viljak tries again to get some sort of position here. But I like the sticky trap here from Joe actually. It's on the top left rock, kind of near the balcony area, so Pedos could get caught out by that. That doesn't really matter at the moment, as the medic's actually staying in spawn here. He doesn't actually have Uber yet. Skiege is on 81% and just sitting in that spawn as that cart gets pushed forward to some sort of position there.
Yeah, Skiege actually running crits, which is interesting to note. A lot of teams seem to be quite happy running crits. I think it's when you roast your team isn't, the defensive team isn't sitting in that front house. Both teams obviously opting to hold far back. You can get a crits from that right hand side, which adysky looks to be going to do. And if you can pop it and just kind of get that little gap, it works quite well. And this crits he does run, this crits doesn't seem to get anything. Only picks so far. Carlozzo getting 2 picks onto both Milkman and onto Pidox. As Cherry gets the return frag. So if anything, a kind of a failed crits push. Didn't really get anything out of it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it actually is going to build faster, obviously, because crits has that 25% faster build rate. So maybe that's kind of the plan. Maybe you trade crits for Uber, get all out, and then go back in with that crits advantage. As now, you can see it building up so fast here, 30% already. Just building up for Skeege, making sure that he stays alive here, and adysky's always reloaded. But Carlozzo's in a position to ruin their day again, but gets caught out here. This is really good spy checking coming out of these guys at the moment, from Fair Enough. Just...
Yeah. Mid kind of play during that exchange. Village actually got 2 picks, 1 onto Joe as well, so that's going to be no demo man. Joe's only just up now. If you can get over to his combo in time, they should be okay. But you can see actually, if anything, Nunya aren't holding as far forward as we saw Fair Enough hold. I mean, T-Time just coming up that little balcony, but Crits comes out again from Fair Enough, trying to get a pick onto Layla. Adysky trying everything he can. Actually, Pidox gets the frag. T-Time gets the return onto Adysky, and now Pidox is now stuck in this pit, fighting against Joe and T-Time. Pidox eventually does go down.
Yeah, it was all worth it though for that crits there. What happened was adysky actually forced out Layla down onto the lower ground. And Pidox was just right behind the enemy combo, just able to pick off Layla instantly. So look at this huge advantage again coming out from the crits Krieg. It's literally just them trying to grow it as much as possible at the moment. As Corn Dogs actually set up a sentry gun here, not on the balcony where Cherry set it up, but on the lower ground this time, as they try and reset that defense, but they keep losing so many frags, which means that adysky's going to be able to get spam on the sentry.
Yeah, I don't like holding that lower ground. I don't think it works as well, because as you can see here, you just push your combo to the right hand side, and all you do is spam away at it. We've seen adysky, and I think it was both adysky and Uber took a flash of that crit, as Carlozzo gets a nice pick onto Skeege, and they just spammed up that sentry. And the problem is, if you put it up top, you've got to wait for people to spam stuff up, and it actually hits people on the cart as well. Whereas on the floor, you can push the cart all the way to like that gate or that fence, and then just push in by yourself with your team with like 9 people.
Yeah. Well, I'm really liking the use of this crits though. It's really working out for Skeege. So they're just pushing every single point with this advantage that they know they have, and this damage that adysky can put out is just insane. Even though he got picked off at the start of that crits last time, but it's still doing a really good job for them, as I think they may have rotated back to Uber now, but they are. Look at the position the combo have, they're already upstairs. Just making sure that that sentry gun's gone down again, which means this could be another quick third cap.
Yeah, they rotated that right side, actually got the sentry, which is normally the hardest thing to hit. But Yompu actually ran behind, got a frag onto adysky, and it's kind of set back that combo now. You can see Skeege rotated back up top now, handing out buffs, especially for their sniper, which, yeah, that's always a big thing to do. A nice sniper 185. That's what we're pushing left hand side. Uber actually came out from Nunya, and we see the return now. Idrisil kind of caught in the air, actually gets out. And it's going to be this post-Uber fight. Philpa Fragtor going in the way of Nunya, getting picks onto Uber's Cherry and Viljack. But no actually combo picks just yet.
Yeah, T-Time's doing a really good job here, just making sure that the Uber's being kept up, even though they couldn't like pick off Yggdrasil, but they do pick off adysky now, actually, saying that Milchman's getting pressured as combos having to fall so far out, and they're buying a lot of time on this third point, even though they lost a sentry so early on.
Milkman
is now on
some
his
fat
own.
jukes. Watching Milkman trying to avoid some pipes from Joe. Got left and right. Eventually just took one in the corner, that didn't work as well. We see 2 picks come out for actually from Nunya. 3 actually, Joe getting picked onto Viljack and Yggdrasil.
Joe's playing insane at the moment. He's getting so many frags for his team and just making sure that they're staying so far back, fair enough, so they can't set up some sort of push. As they do again try and take this right hand side, trying to get the sentry gun. As that Solly's forced off the top, adysky again forced to be so weak. And the trade is now taken up top.
Yeah, adysky actually got dropped. Carlozzo gets picked up some Milkman. But it's only now Pidox and Skeege is the only people. Conch comes actually from Chewid. And so many frags for Nunya. Big picks on. Skeege got backstab. Conch got a pick up to Pidox. And pretty much all the combo went down during that push for Fair Enough. And if anything, actually Joe got another pick onto adysky there. But Butnos gets a return onto Layla. So Uber advantage is going to go back in the favour of Skeege again. And Butnos actually got another kill. He got a back kill onto Joe. So no combo actually. I suppose you got Blitzer, but you don't have Layla or Joe on third. And actually no sentry either, because Viljack got the pick onto that. So if anything, this should hopefully be third, and they've got 4.5 minutes to capture last.
Yeah, just one pick after another there as Layla went down, and she wasn't actually building outside of spawn as well, so really big advantage here for Skeej, as they are still trying to take this third point, but Nunya just want to hold on for as long as possible, just lengthening the time and just making sure they got enough time to go back to that last point, build the Uber charge, and make sure they're able to hold here from fair enough. They do take this right house.
We've now got just under 4, well, just over 4 minutes actually, my mistake, to capture this last point. At a very similar time, I think, to actually what Nunya had. So it should be close depending on what we can do. We see Carlotto actually sitting quite close on the left, almost getting a pick onto Pidox, but his spy sense was too good. Uber's coming out for fair enough on this far left-hand side, trying to get any sort of pick. So far, only Milkman's getting 3 kills, 4 onto Condog. Joe gets a natural traffic onto Pidox. I know kind of bullet shield heavy, but Joe's not in a bad position. Uber finally comes out from Nunya, just going to try and force this combo back. But Skeej, I think, yeah, Skeej got out fine. He's building at 30%.
Yeah, and look how far they managed actually to get that cart in. That means they're going to be able to sack people for that and make sure that it stays quite close to that kind of area. So when they do their next push, they're going to have to look out for that cart now. As we just see kind of a reset here, but mini sentries coming out of Condog here. It looks like he switched back to the big ones now. As Skeej just builds his Uber up to 75% already, with a huge advantage over Layla, so they are going to be able to push him with advantage.
I do love a big one. I'm just watching adysky. I think it's always this kind of demo play where they're just going to spam stickies, and as soon as you hit that 100 damage sticky, they're just going to juggle someone. Is always what kind of the catalyst for a push. I mean, you see the Uber come out now. Actually, a lot of Uber onto Yggdrasil, but Titan quite happily just taking and kind of nullifying any effects that Uber may have had.
Titan did a huge job then. That was absolutely insane by him. He kept that Uber bag for so long, forced it early, because he saw the pyro and he was like, oh, I better pop Uber here, maybe the convo's close. But they really weren't, and he just stayed alive for so long, even surviving that Uber. So maybe a little bit of a waste there from Skeej, just not looking what's around the corner maybe, his team not calling that. And that's going to still set the Uber advantage to them as they try and rotate to this left-hand side now.
They're trying to push in this opposite side. So far, not only picks up one pick onto Yumpu, but that's only a scout. Lots of Viljack, so no aggression from him. Uber coming up from adysky. They've actually taken this top area completely, just brute forcing it with Uber. Sticky's everywhere from adysky. Does get one frag onto Blutzer. I don't people on the car. It could be Pidox to push it all the way in. He does! Actually, him and I think Buttnose got the final cap. And fair enough, will take the first 3 points of this half.
Very close though. Very, very close.
Not as much as a roll as I thought it would have been. I was expecting maybe slightly quicker for fair enough, based on their kind of previous results over these weeks and just the confidence I think they give off. You've got this. Actually, it's interesting to know they've got pretty much none of the what was team infused. You've only got Skeej and adysky. You don't have potentially kind of 4 of them.
Yeah.
But if we have a cheeky look at the logs, and hopefully the players we noted will be reflected in the logs. I mean, Milkman, he ended up getting 23 frags, which was the top frags for fair enough. And then for Nunya, you have Joe getting 25 frags as well. So Joe and Carlotto actually doing a lot of work. And even Buttnose, we didn't mention Buttnose as much as we might have, but he actually, he got 10 assists and 19 frags, which isn't bad. I mean, damage-wise, of course, it's going to be Joe. Joe gets a lot of damage. He actually got over 3k damage more than adysky, hitting about 12k damage, and adysky only hitting about 9k damage. I've got to look at medics, as obviously you can tell me about medics. I mean, Skeej, extra 200 heals a minute.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane amount of heals coming out of Skeej. Look how much more heals he gets on adysky compared to Joe. It's absolutely massive. I mean, Joe might have more damage because he was making more plays, getting more picks for his team, but adysky was just constant damage, like all the time in the right situations where he's in a team fight.
I think one thing I noticed was, I'm not sure if it's how they normally play, but the way I saw adysky play was very kind of combo-centric. I think that might be just because of the way they play together in Infused. adysky was always with Skeej, they were never separated, whereas, especially on third, you saw Joe, if anything, kind of roaming about a bit more, just getting little frags here and there. And I think those little frags is what gave Joe his kind of his damage and his tally. But Adysky was playing on a much tighter leash. I mean, other than that, you look at the rest of the classes, and it's just a few percentage between. But 8% difference in heals, you go, well, it's not too much. But then you realise it's almost 3,000 more heals Adysky had. I mean, what about health packs? And thinking, health packs, they were like nothing. So it wasn't like Joe was like roaming about getting health packs.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, I don't like really comparing people because it's like two different styles of gameplay. They might play completely different roles within that team. And that's like one of the prime examples of it, where Joe's playing a different kind of demo, and Adysky's obviously playing that more combo-centric, like you said.
Yeah, Adysky not... Actually, it was Joe not getting kind of 80% heals. I mean, we're going to see the other team swap now, so it's going to be now Nunya defending and fair enough attacking. And I want to quickly point out that I thought it was going to be a roll, and I'm quickly just going to call up the saloon bets, and it's 80.6% in the favour of fair enough and 19.4% in the favour of Nunya. So I'm probably just going to say that I think the community agrees that fair enough will win this, but I think a few people might have been worried about those skins, looking at fair enough pushing that last point. But we look towards the second round, honey, and what do you think Nunya have to change? Do you think they have to defend better or get a faster time?
I think that if they had a better hold on the second point, where like fair enough for holding, they could have bought a little bit more time off of that. They backed that really early on though because they couldn't kill Skeege. So I think the main thing they do need to do is kill Skeege, because they only killed him once last round. So really, Skeege's obviously doing a really good job to stay alive, but that should be the main focus if he's back on that Gritzkrieg. I'll just double check now. No, he's actually on Uber this time, so it's going to be a little bit of a different strategy coming out, fair enough. But still, Skeege, I think, is one of their main priority callers there in that fair enough team. So it would be good to see him go down a little bit more and maybe kind of try and tilt that enemy team.
I think the issue I saw with them running crits is where you had the combo in this sentry from Condog. His crits didn't do anything. It put in a lot of damage, but you didn't get any frags. Whereas the first couple of frags now, I'm seeing, Joe gets picked onto Cherry and Milkman getting both Blitzer and Condog. So that's the sentry down. A much better first push from fair enough. They should get this in a very quick gap time, actually.
Yeah, and actually Condog went down so early on there from the Milkman. Really good pick coming out of him, and making sure that they'd be able to secure that point with such little time. What happened there was they basically just held so far back there, the team, and they just allowed the Milkman these sight lines, which he just had so much time and space to do something with. And Adysky does get picked off there by Fairfax. Fairfax?
Afrax.
Afrax. Such a weird name.
It's the Carfax.
But yeah, he will just be holding that sight line. But this time, Nunya have got that top left area, so let's see if they can buy a little bit more time and keeping fair enough back.
Yeah, Condog opting to go for the same sentry position again. It's just under this balcony. Only at level 2 so far. But I don't think fair enough are that ballsy to push in that quickly. But we see, both medics got 100%. And actually, drop down seems to be a more preferred route. And actually, Uber's going to come out from both teams. Pilot trying to stay out of it, so it doesn't have to be Flash. Actually, Flashes come out onto tea time as well. So far, only Afrax and Carlozzo are getting frags.
Yeah, no, this time they were actually able to hold the Uber back there. Really good play by Nunya, making sure they get so much time out of this. But Layla goes down as I say that. And
actually, Adysky, that post-Uber fight, Adysky actually got a bottle kill onto tea time. And Yggdrasil came as well and helped do a lot of damage with Adysky. And they've actually taken this right-hand house. So I'm hoping that they won't immediately fall back out, because then your whole work is kind of done. But obviously Carlozzo went to uncloak, and Yggdrasil, with just wealths of experience, was able to immediately see him. And I think fair enough now, if anything, I'm going to look at this house and looking to push probably with another Uber.
Yeah, because Layla died in that last exchange and Skeege stayed alive, look at the advantage again that is built up for Skeege. He's making sure that he's always building that Uber at the moment, doing a really good job of keeping a track of those. And just making sure that his team's always pushing with advantage as they pop in through house here. Straight onto that sentry gun, which has now just been moved to balcony. But Corndog's actually going to save it here for the third point, which is the right call. But Villajack again.
Big pick onto Layla. Actually, Bloods even went down as well. I think Yggdrasil got the finish onto him. I mean, you can't exactly expect the heavy to get out that quickly. The tele exit's still up, so if no one notices that, you could go for that, that cheeky pub play where you just pop a tele exit up, or tele-entrance even, and just get behind their combo. Did you see like a spy play if that happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 minutes actually for the first 2 points. Quite
That's
fast.
a really good time. That's a really fast time. So yeah, again, because they were able to pick off Layla again at the end of that fight, Ski just being able to build a massive advantage again. So they are going to have time here just to rebuff, get the team ready for the push, and make sure that they're able to take down the sentry again. As Layla's nowhere near the Uber charge at the moment if Skeege pushes in here. Just making sure that they take the time.
It is interesting to see how both spies are playing. It seems like Viljack seems to be getting frags at like the end of an Uber exchange, whereas Colosso's almost like initiating them. He seems to be getting frags, and then the Uber comes in, whereas Viljack's just like, well, I'll just wait till you all fade, and then just get Layla on the way out. I think he's done that 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, again, 2 different playstyles there coming out of 2 different people. As Adysky tries to take so much room here, takes too much room, and Carlotto, again, like you said before, just waits for the end of the Uber there, and manages to get loads of picks there onto the enemy team there. Adysky going down within that. Skeege getting pressured at the moment by Buttnose. Will he go down? No, 4 health. Manages to escape that there, really lucky by him.
Great play by Skeege actually. He was given... I think it was the Pyro he was close with. I guess it was tea time. I think he was just hitting so much space and strafing and so anything he can, and Pinox was luckily there just to save his medic. And I say that as I think Afrak's got the kill on Azio Adysky. I didn't notice he got a return frag onto Layla as well. So both medics going down this mini exchange in a sense. I call it mini, but we've got 3 players down for Fair Enough and only some spawners up for Nunya now.
Oh wow, Pinox actually managed to get up to the top of the stairs there, taking down the sentry gun, and this third point will be capped, but they did buy quite a lot of time during that push here, and it's going to be all down to their last one now, how they can hold it. It wasn't so good last time, so hopefully they can get some more time off of it this time, and make sure that they're keeping that advantage now that's with Layla at 20%.
Yeah, Condor just getting that sentry up now, just coming into a level 1, but Skeege actually with a disadvantage for once. It's not like they can immediately push straight in aggressively and get a level 1 sentry. And if anything, it was looking that Nunya were going to hold forward, but they've got what, 6 players, 7 players on this side, where the rest of Fair Enough's combo are, that I can't see them ever holding forward. This normally gets a nice pick on the Afrax.
Yeah, no, a lot of people seem to be holding forward on this map as Adysky gets taken down there. T-Don doing such a good job. They're keeping the combo out, taking out Adysky, and Skeege isn't building Uber at the moment as well. Just to add on top of that, as Layla just gets hers now. And they clean up so many frags there, 6 or 7 frags as the cart's just pushed in. Yeah. But yeah, again, it's going to be a reset.
T-Tom actually got 2 reflect kills. He got a reflect pipe onto Adysky, and then he just got another rocket kill, or a rocket reflect on Viljack actually with a deflected rocket. So very well timed reflection from him.
Yeah, no, he's actually playing really well at the moment, keeping these Ubers out. As the Milton tries to see if he can peek here, Joe's putting some really good pressure actually onto the team there. He's actually playing really far away from Layla, which is quite unusual to see, I think. Without a buff or whatsoever. Just keeping Adysky in that corner at the moment. They have the pop Ubers so early, but they do take down Joe because of where Layla is. Where is Layla? She's actually behind at the moment, next to Blitzer now. And he's actually not going to get any buffs as Layla comes out of the Uber now.
You actually saw the Uber. It was actually really very well-timed play. Fair enough, actually. Carlotto was sitting behind this combo just by this fence in this little shack, uncloaked, and literally the split second he would have gotten a drop onto Skeege. Skeege popped, and no one called it because everyone had their backs turned. So Carlotto went, okay, I'll just pick the Pyro and the Heavy, but Skeege was about a second of one dropping.
Oh, Carlotto again get another pick onto Milchman, and they try and go through this left-hand side, which worked for them last time when they rotated, but Piddox gets picked off instantly, and Adysky goes down as well, and that sentry gun from Corndog is staying up this time on the high advantage area, which he didn't do on that second point, and it's working a lot better this time.
Yeah, I know earlier I was noting about how Joe's roaming about. You can even see now on last, he's not sitting as close with Layla as perhaps Adysky does. You know, he's taking some stickies, getting a buff, and then just like walking forward. And I mean, there he was just like firing a few pipes away, and he'll back off, you know, rotate for a buff and come back. And it's such a different playstyle, but you know, it's working for both teams playing these such different playstyles.
Yeah, Zuba's actually both popped there. Viljack actually managed to get the engineer, which means Sentry goes down instantly here, and it looks like Layla's here dropped to heavy. Sniper goes down as well as adysky tries to take this top area here, and look how close that cart is at the moment. Only 4 players left alive for Nunya, and this surely is going to go to fair enough. A very quick time for them. I think it's about 7 or 8 minutes. Yeah, there we go.
8 minutes 16 seconds. That's a great time from them. Actually, watching adysky that last push, he came in, he got a pipe on the condog, and then literally as the door was closing, he finds another one and hit Layla as she was about to hit the cabinet and get full health. And then he basically went, oh yeah, we have to cap the car. Okay, I'll do it. And just stood there. You had poor old Buttnose. Not Buttnose, sorry. Yumpu just sitting in that cart going, I'm just trying to kill time, and wasn't enough, but 8 minutes 16 seconds. Yeah, a lot, about 2 minutes I think. 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes faster than Nunya originally capped in the first round. So, if anything, I'd say fair enough's offense was better this time. I don't think it was Nunya's defense was any worse.
Yeah. I think they were able to pick up on the advantages a lot more there, fair enough. And they managed to pick off Layla so many times during that, just to make sure they get the advantage every time. The main thing is though, I think at third point, Nunya managed to cap it 6 minutes 30 I think last time. So they still could do this quite easily, even though it is quite fast time, it's just not the fastest time. So they can do this if they don't screw up the push on last point and if it's exactly the same as last time, but fair enough have really upped their game.
I think a big difference for fair enough was running that crit and always having that advantage over Layla, or even getting the picks at the end of the Uber exchanges, like the spy picks onto Layla, so they were always, if anything, fighting a losing battle with Uber advantages.
Yeah, I do like that actually kind of style of play there. It's really different and really good to see that other people are actually using the other medigun. That's considered obviously secondary to Uber. But they do actually start pushing out here as Carlozzo again trying to get a position behind this team, and Blitzer just holding that top area. But so many teams holding so far back, giving up so much space. That house there would be a really nice place to hold, I think, anyway.
Yeah, we saw I think, especially the Bureau were holding that house. And you just hit your combo in there, but the problem is you can get forced quite easily. You've got potentially 3 entrances to get forced. I think if anything, if you all die on that first point and hold that house, if you want to fall out, you're in that house. You've got to fall all the way back, past where you've got Cherry's Sentry, and all the way around to second. Whereas if you hold that first point, you can see, as fair enough are doing now, they can just quite easily fall out, rotate through this house into this other house, and it's like they've lost too many players. But we see Joe playing this very Roma demo again, gets the pick onto adysky, so no defensive, I guess, demo plays if Nunya decided to push this point straight away.
Yeah, these teams are finding it preferable to hold that second point, but this time they're deciding it's time to back out. The fair enough combo, have actually managed to get out and rotate again with that sentry gun. Pedoc's coming underneath that, but Cherry's on the front line at the moment. That sentry gun's going to be taken down instantly as he puts so much pressure onto it. And look at the time. This is really fast at the moment coming out of them. 1 minute and 30 seconds to cap these points.
Yeah, Uber coming out now from fair enough, getting a bit nice onto Condog. So even Blitzer went down. Uber does come out from Layla, but Joe got to pipe by adysky, so he won't be able to take any of this Uber. T-Time gets a nice pick onto Skeed. So Layla, if she survives, which she does, with her now 5-minute Uber building, will have this advantage. But Viljack trying to get a pick on the way out, but I think Layla's got enough protection now that she should have advantage to try and re-push this second.
Yeah, but the car actually didn't get capped there. I thought it was just going to get tipped over there, which is going to buy these forward spawns coming out are fair enough here. As Carlozzo is actually trying to get some cat time on that car, I think, yeah, he manages just to get it in time, so that's not going to go back any further. But now, as Laser builds this advantage, he did it for so long, he's only got a 10% advantage out of that, even though Skeet was dead for 10 seconds when she was alive. So really weird play coming out there. Joe gets off again by Viljack, and these heals kind of seem split to me at the moment. It is really far away from Joe, and Joe's not being able to do anything. He's just shut down all the time.
I'm not sure it's maybe this quicker time from fair enough. Joe does seem to be jumping in and, like I've said earlier, seems to be roaming a bit more. I think you've got to find that fine line between roaming and playing, well, roaming and overextending. If you jump in too much, you keep getting picked. It's time to kind of rein it in, but you should have to keep that aggression going. But actually, adysky does Uber out, picks onto Tam, Blitzer and Chewid. A lot of frags. Trying to maybe Afrax, but quick from him. Uber comes out from G fading. Layla goes down. Joe the only one surviving from their combo. You got Carlozzo and Afrax as well. But another really great kind of defensive, if anything, a kind of aggressive defensive push from Fair Enough, getting a lot of picks.
Yeah, they got so many picks for the Uber, and when Layla popped, it was only her and Joe left, so nothing was ever really going to come out of that one. I don't really know the objective they were trying to get off of that. But anyway, they are going to go back to holding this house again, and fair enough, just have this on complete lockdown. They've been holding this now for a good 3 minutes, so as long as they can keep kind of edging out this time here from Nunya, then there's not going to be a chance to even get to the last point.
I mean, Ski just happily sitting in that house. They've got Uber. It's going to come out again. And if anything, they should just get a lot of picks. I mean, we see a nice pick on... Actually, Uber's got the pick on to Joe. I think Chewid ended up cratering. Condog getting in the way, if anything. Actually, if anything, he ended up using the Uber fair enough as they focused him. But actually gives Layla the advantage now. I think they stayed far out of it. They went in to get that Uber forced. Blutzer Leia holding in this house. Joe's with them again now. They've got 100 Uber. Skeet is only at 50. They could quite easily, if they play this right, get the picks they need and finish this cap off. But you've got 3.5 minutes to try and capture these next, I think, 3 points. Not looking that likely at this rate.
Wow, again the BlackOut coming out, fair enough, out of this house area, trading Ubers. And look at the advantage now that Skeech has. Kolotsu is behind them, and Joe wants to push him behind here, but he's not going to be able to do enough damage as that Uber's popped off, and they are going to just get completely collapsed upon there by Skeech's Uber. And they do again take out that combo, and there just seems to be no objective coming out of Layla and Joe's Uber. They just seem to go in, and then fair enough, back out. No picks whatsoever.
I think the problem is, I think maybe fair enough are able to find, or at least time these Ubers from Nunya a bit faster. They see it early, they get themselves into a good position, and then they just happily re-push. Whereas it's always the problem with Nunya, they're always Ubering, they seem to be Ubering first. They don't seem to be getting the kind of the return Uber. We see it makes that equal Uber. If they can force skis or at least frag skis, they should be okay. So far all we're seeing is exchanging of just frags left to right and centre. But Uber's, I mean, he got Kolotso and the Sentry. So you don't have Kolotso to even get a pick onto Skeej.
Yeah, Ubers have been a really big thing this game between Skeej and Layla. As Nunya actually now try and see if they can set up here to get that cart pushed. And look where it's actually gone down to. They had it right next to the point at one point where they'd taken momentum from the first point. But now it's actually been forced back so far as both teams now have Uber again. Let's see if Joe and Blutzer can do something a little bit better this time, but Joe gets dropped instantly as both Ubers come out here. It's going to be a single from Layla, but Yggdrasil just breaking the Uber up completely, which means Blutzer's going to get picked off. And Yumpu's going to get a frag on the back there, so a little bit more of a successful Uber. But
Kolotso, he got the backstab onto Cherry and the sap in place. So there goes Cherry Sentry, which got finished off by Chewid. Chewid's now sitting in this top area. Should get his pick onto Skeej unless he gets out. He does, in the end. He ended up missing 2 rockets and jumping up the way of a flare. But I don't think fair enough should be that concerned. Yggdrasil actually got a huge pick onto Layla, so they've got no Uber advantage, pushing on to third. You've got 1.5 minutes left to push this car all the way to the end. I think it's still possible, but you have to keep, if anything, probably a constant ×3 or ×4 all the way to the end now.
Well, the problem is they're taking quite long, obviously, because it's a really long track there, and Cherry's already setting up on that third point, making sure that his combo is able to get in as well, with Pidox rotates to that top right area where you want to be holding as a combo. And they're getting so many players on this point now, but they haven't been able to push forward, and the cart's not even in kind of the house area as Cherry's getting a centric and now to level 2.
Yeah, it's only at level 1, so it's not too much of an issue to kill if he needs to. Kolotso pick onto Skeej! So Layla's got a 50% advantage if she keeps healing. But Pidox got 2 frags, Billjack got 1 or 2, and if anything, frags actually went the way, frag numbers went in the way of fair enough, but I guess frag importance went in the favour of Nunya because of that pick onto Skeej.
Yeah, but nobody's pushing the part, but Buttnose gets Layla there on the backside of that push. Still nobody pushing cart, I don't think it's possible anymore. I think it's dead time now.
20 seconds, I'm going to call it, that is game, but fair enough. Another great victory from them. Full 6 points, none of this golden cap rubbish that we saw on Thursday, where I got confused over how many points it was. Easy 6 points for fair enough. Yeah, 5 seconds to go. Yeah, frags are still coming out, but we've got level 2 sentry. Everyone's running about, getting frags, and there it goes. Fair enough will be your winners of week 4. They'll take all 6 points. and if I'm correct, they were. I mean, they were. They were top. They were top half of the table. That should pull them. Actually, should put them into first, I think.
Yeah, because High Panda got a golden cap win.
High Panda got a gold cap against Wasp. Was it against Wasp?
I think so. But yeah, anyway, they did have a little bit of a fight in the first round where it was pretty close there on times, but they managed to drag it back.
It was on Premtech. They got the golden cap. It's only 17 points, so fair enough. We have a solid 6 wins. Catapult to first place, which is not the way people were seeing the season going. Everyone expected strong opinions to come in, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that they played, or at least close to finishing, against PC Ambition. I believe that they won, but either way, let's have a look at the logs for this second map. It'll be interesting to see if it's a similar story or if we see a complete change.
I'll get the logs as well.
Alright, so I'm pulling it up again. I mean, players who we thought did well. Adysky played a lot better this game, I would say, than the first game. We can see that reflected. We see 23 frags, 9 deaths. So he played very well. We saw, actually, Carlotto got top ranking. Joe actually not do. I don't think Joe did as well this game as before. We saw Joe only getting 14 frags. And actually, his KD was actually equal, with only 3 assists, whereas I'm not sure, maybe that was him. He got actually picked quite a few times. I'm trying to quickly look on the frags of Fair Enough who got the most demo picks. Actually, it was Adysky who actually has joined us. I'll get to you in just a minute, Adysky, my friend. So yeah, I think Joe playing this roamery style demo to kind of play more aggressively didn't really work out. I mean, he was trying to get in with a combo and got picked, if anything, too often. And I think maybe they were panicking over this, not the loss, but maybe the quick time.
Yeah, I didn't really like how Joe played with Layla in that game. They kind of seemed to always split up. Him playing on the flank, roaming, taking as less heals as possible or whatever. Just really didn't work out for them. But Carlotto had a hell of a game. Got so much more damage than Viljack. And got so many frags to push his team over the points there, trying to carry them through, but just wasn't enough.
Another thing I want to quickly note, because I always look at snipers, but most snipers here played pretty similar. There wasn't anyone, kind of smashing the other one. But a huge difference is the medic assist. Layla only got 5 assists, and Skeege got 19. That's a massive difference in assists. Sure, you could also look at damage and whatever, but I'm assuming the assist must have just been the way that Adysky played so much closer, and Layla always seems separated from her combo. I mean, she only died 9 times compared to Skeege dying 4, so it's not like she was always dead. She just never seemed to be with a player. She never really linked up with Blutzer. She was never that together with Joe. I think that was the roaming style we talked about.
Well, it might be due to like Skeege and Adysky playing in Infuse together. Like, when they went for those aggressive pushes on the second hold, they were getting so many picks off with their Uber, just making sure they would split the combo up and do so much damage to the flank classes, and the Uber was just nothing for them. Layla's Uber really did nothing for them. So really well played to Skeege and Adysky to do that.
But rather than ignore Adysky, I did acknowledge him, but he's finally here. So if we stop swearing at people, well, not even swearing, just analysing this game. Adysky, congratulations on winning your 3rd consecutive game.
Thank you. And hello.
So, first question I want to quickly ask is, we touched quite a lot on how Joe and Layla compared to you and Skeege played. And one thing we noted was how you played a lot more heal heavy with Skeege compared to Joe's more roaming style, which I didn't think he normally does. But is that something you also do in your Sixes team? You play like quite tight leashed with Skeege?
I think it wasn't really like entirely about our demo and medic coordination. I would actually argue against you. We've tried and split the rest of the combo again, like away from Joe and Layla. So we always like end up fighting just one group. And it kind of worked out. Like, we always got off the rest of the combo without Joe and Layla. But like, Joe and Layla was always together. They were always together. But I think that, I don't know, we played this map not that many times, but we figured out where to do holds, how to rotate, and that's really important on like a new map that every team plays for the first time. Like our scrims didn't go that well, but we just said to ourselves before the game, hey, we know how the game works, where to rotate, where to go, and it kind of worked out, so yeah, I'm really glad.
So are you a fan of Borneo? Obviously it was added in this season, you know, you touched on how your streams didn't go amazing, but are you a fan of Borneo? I
No.
I don't think it's too bad of a map, but everyone seems to hate it. But I think it's good to throw in a map now and again that not many people are huge fans of.
Everyone from our team hates it, like we are so glad that it's over. Like our scrims went terribly wrong and we couldn't compete with the best teams. Like if we got strong opinions in this week, we would get smashed. If we got, I don't know, Highlander, we would get smashed, you know. So we are glad that we got the, I don't know, Nunya, not considered to be like top team. I didn't even expect to take 6 points from today. I was expecting to Joe doing some magic with his crits with Layla. Just like wiping us on first and pushing all the way to third or something. But yeah.
I mean, you also played quite a lot of crits on over the first round, I think, or was it at least the second, where you always had that Uber advantage with the crits. And was that something you'd practice in your scrims, or was that just something you just thought of doing?
We never played with crits in our scrims, and before the official I was like, okay, a lot of teams are doing this and it's working, let's try it. We didn't have like really time to practice it. We didn't play that many scrims this week, so yeah, we just told ourselves like, yeah, let's try it. And it kind of worked. We kind of choked on the second point. We used like 1 crits that got wasted, but other than that, it was a pretty good game.
Okay. Yeah, your crit spay was so good because you were always ahead in Uber. It was really good.
Well, as I'm not going to be joined by anyone from Nunya, I'm fine with that. I've always said if you don't want to talk and if you'd rather talk with your team afterwards, fine. If Layla or Joe are in chat, they want to join, that's fine. Do it quick because I'm going to move on to next week's games. Adysky, obviously, you're top of the table now. I'm assuming you're happy with that. You can rub it in Villager's face and even strong opinions in CJ, which I think is quite funny. But week 4, we move on to CP Steel, of which I believe you're playing Wasp.
Yep.
You got any special strats to beat the Russians, or?
Well, it's Russians on Steel, so you always expect the same thing, but on the other hand, their team is very DM heavy, which can kind of hurt us on a map like Borneo. Not Borneo, Steel.
You're just
So
gonna hope for the best and see
Yeah,
how it
we're
goes.
gonna hope for the best. We're gonna scrim a lot this week and try and figure out how Steel works. We haven't played it at all with this team. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough week for us, but I expect to take some points from us.
You gonna try and get your full team in? Because then obviously you had Buttnose and Ubers in. What happened with Ty and Denia?
Tiger had. This is like a weird situation because Tiger's work schedule is changing, like starting next week. But I thought we can ease him this week as well. Like will be his last game, and then Quick will step up into a main spot for the rest of the weeks. But what happened is that Tiger told me yesterday, and I completely forgot about it, that he cannot play today. So we tried to get back last minute. And then about Denia is that he played the Razor Cup with some mixed team, and he didn't expect to get it far. And they're now playing like semifinals or finals, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot play." And he just goes to fine, so I can't even like talk to him, So we had to get a merc.
Well, I don't think
Which was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, Buttnose was. I don't think Buttnose was a bad merc though. I mean, he got a nice few picks onto Layla and did his
was
job.
playing really well. Yeah.
So, I mean, Honey, if you've got any other questions, apparently the Nunya Mumble was a little bit PJ Salt, so I won't delve too deep into that. But
where do you expect to finish Adysky this season with your team? Like, I know you're top at the moment, obviously, but you got some hard games coming up.
In the finals, it's our goal.
So the way I see it is, I think you can I think you're able to beat Wasp unless they use some unknown strat where everyone pushes a weird way and no one else had to defend it. I mean, week 5 you're playing TC Ambition, but I think that's probably quite an easy game for you. You've got Premtech on Barn Blitz, but I think you probably can play Whitman through that. And then week 7 you go up against High Panda on Product.
And Gully Wash.
And Gully as well, which, you know, if you have your full roster, which I would say are quite, you know, 6s heavy maps, you know? I've always said that CP maps and Koth Product normally kind of favour the slightly, you know, kind of stronger 6s team. We saw it, you know, obviously High Panda last season and whatnot, but yeah, I think you got a good chance of doing well. So, yeah, before we wrap this up, I think the other game, I think, quite obviously went in the favour of Strong Opinions over Fair Enough. I don't think there was any doubt on who was going to win. So, thanks for the skins, I guess. And also, Adysky, thank you for giving me skins as well.
No problem, dude.
Haha. And yeah, I guess the next games that we'll cast on BlackOut TV will be whoever decides week 4 first. I think the only one scheduled so far is, I think Fair Enough is scheduled for the 17th. Same for High Panda versus the Bureau. We've also got Nunya against TC Ambition on the 13th, so that's on Wednesday. So look forward to them. I don't know who's casting that. Might be myself, might be Honey, might be CJ, whoever. You know. Shout out to Essential.df, obviously. They help sponsor John. You know, subscribe to BlackOut TV. Adysky, any shoutouts before we go?
And shoutouts to my team and to you guys for having such a great coverage.
Oh.
Alright, I guess that's all from us, and we will see you on the next casted game.